This is the Lake Life shadow box. So when you unwrap your shadow box, it's great to put out your layers in order in kind of like a line so that you can keep organized as to which layer goes which. Then the first thing you're going to do is you're going to paint your layers. So there's no real wrong way to do this. You just paint each layer how you want. You can mix your colors. There's a mixing guide. You can mix your colors to be different shades of blue, which I do here for the water. The most important thing is make sure each layer is just a different color. Otherwise, they'll just blend in to each other, which isn't a bad thing. It'll still show up because of the way it's cut. As I go in here to do the trees, I'm adding some yellow in here, and I'm just lightly brushing over top of them. These are just some details that you can add. You don't have to, but you can add some light green and dark green to your trees, and you can add snow if you want over top of it just by doing a light brushing of a different color. So now I'm going on to the water here, and I'm just using different colors of blue. So I use my light blue, and then I kind of use this turquoise and dark blue, and I mix them right together right on that layer just to make sure that it was different than the layer going on top. And then this next layer, and then I checked there to make sure it is different enough, added some dark blue. And then the next layer I'm going to make even lighter, and I'm going to add some white around where the lines are just to kind of make it look more like ripples or waves. And that's just an extra detail that you can add. You can also just paint it a different color of blue if you want. So now I'm adding some white around where those cut lines are in the middle layer. I'm going in to do my next set of trees, and I'm just making them lighter than the other set of trees just so they stand out. Now I'm going in to do the deck where the chairs go on top of, and I did it brown, and then I just added some white over top of it. Again, just lightly brushed on white just so it kind of looked a bit more like wood and gave it some texture, I guess. But those little details are up to you. You don't have to add them if you don't want to. I'm making my little canoe a silhouette, so I'm painting in black, and I made it daytime, so I'm going to add a yellow sun. I'm going to paint in my chairs red. And then the final layer, just kind of the border that goes on top, I'm actually not going to paint. I really like the flip side of it. As you can see here, those are the burn marks from the laser and the honeycomb underneath it. So I'm just going to flip it over and glue it together that way. So now when you glue your layers together, you're going to put this glue that dries clear, so you don't have to worry if you can see a little bit when it gets pushed together. And I'm going to put glue all over my layer, my tree layer to go on top of my sky, and I'm going to put glue all over it, and then I'm going to push it down, just trying to push it more in the screen here, push it down on top of the bottom layer. And I'm just going to make sure the round lines, the edges are all kind of lined up so it's a perfect circle. And then I'm going to push it down and let it dry. I would suggest doing one layer at a time if you have time. Let it dry, do the next layer. Then when you're pushing it down, it doesn't move on you, but it's totally up to you. I am quickly going to, without gluing, just place these these water layers on top just to make sure when they sit there's enough difference between them. I think they're great, so I'm going to glue them on top. And again, I'm just making sure that there's enough glue around where the water is, and then always around the edge of that thin kind of circle border line. As I push it down, sometimes glue comes out. I'm just using the other edge of the glue applicator to kind of wipe up some of the glue that's spilling out. But again, it does dry clear. Now I'm just putting on the deck, lining it up, making sure it's straight with the trees and the hills. Now I have my chairs on top. And then before my last layer, I'm going to put in my sun, and I'm going to put in my canoe guy and just place him where I want him. Put my layer on, and then I am all done. It's all glued. I would wait until all the glue has dried, and then what you can do is you can pick up the side, and you see how there's kind of like some blue paint and some green paint. So I don't really want the side to look like that. So I'm going to take some black paint, and I'm just going to paint the edge. The only thing you have to be kind of careful of is if you didn't paint the border, that you just don't go crazy with the black paint and it falls over the edge. So I'm just putting that black paint over top of it, and you can see it just makes it kind of all stand out. So I'm making sure I don't go on the side and putting black paint around.